Hey ladies and dudes, I got a big unknown question to ask you. If you guys really love the Phantom of the Opera so much, the main character himself, have you ever studied their types? You know, with their personalities, their attitudes, or the way they look, or the way they act? I know, tough question to ask. Well, anyway, hi, ladies and dudes. This is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka BooBop1987. This is my review for today. And today, I have no review, ladies and dudes. But once again, it's time for another quick edition of BooBop1987's most quick videos. And what's today's most quick video of the day? Well, this is a type of quick video I really want to do from a few days ago or something. I don't know, it's hard for me to say. But I thought about this idea for quite a while. And it's all about our dear beloved character, the Phantom of the Opera. And we all know that the Phantom of the Opera is one of the best popular characters of all time from a book, a movie, or Broadway history. But have you ever studied their types? I mean, there are so many phantoms out there. Well, all the cool actors out there who did play our dear beloved character. But we gotta study their types. You know, getting to know their personalities, their attitudes, the way they act as the Phantom. And there's some of them that kind of reminds me of some of the characters from Dragon Ball Z. Well, yeah, it's hard for me to say, so I'll go ahead and explain to you about some of the Phantoms I do know from each of the musicals. Well, it doesn't matter if it's the movie version or the one the Broadway. So, I'll tell you guys about my own Phantoms. They're truly the most easiest ones that I can remember. Let's go on with Gerard Butler. I know there's some people say that they don't like Gerard Butler's performance as a Phantom of the Opera. I guess the way that he cannot sing. But for me, I love Gerard Butler's singing, and he's doing a not too bad job. But the only thing that matters for me when he plays the Phantom is try to get to know what type he is. And this is the only Phantom of the Opera that I can find who is very, very faithful to the original Phantom of the Opera character that was based by a book. He needs to be the bad A-word type. This is the only Phantom they got right. He has to be a bad A-word character. And he is truly the bad A-word Phantom. And there was a whole lot of bad A-word things that Gerard Butler did for his character. Like he did that bad A-word moment where he has to play peekaboo with one of those people who were working at the Upper Populaire. You know, somewhere up there in the ceiling, I think. Yeah, that's one of my favorite moments from that movie is playing the peekaboo game. And I'll never forget that excellent fight scene between him and Raoul in the graveyard scene. Oh yeah, that was truly bad A-word. I like this better than the stupid plot of the story where the Phantom is about to kill both Raoul and Christine in the graveyard by throwing fireballs at them. I think that wasn't bad A-word. It's more like killing both of them. But I think the fight scene is a lot better. What will happen if Ral did finish off the Phantom and everything will be A-okay? But you know Christine. Christine doesn't want Ral to kill a man who is responsible of teaching her how to sing and become one of the most greatest angel of music people of all time. Well, if you know what I mean. And then another thing I love about Gerard Butler as the Phantom is truly he does remind me of Piccolo. Piccolo will always be my most favorite character from Dragon Ball Z. He is truly the Piccolo type because of that cool looking cape. Since Gerard Butler is the only fam I ever known who can use cape techniques. I'm not sure if Piccolo does do cape techniques in his own cape. Maybe. Well, I can't remember. It's been a long time. But yeah, Gerard Butler is truly the bad A-word type. And truly one of the most underrated ones. And speaking of underrated Phantoms, I got another one. Ben Lewis. Oh yeah, I love Ben Lewis. He's still another favorite Fan of the Opera character I do love. But here's an interesting fun fact you should know about Love Never Dies in the Australian version. Ben Lewis became the very first Fan of the Opera who had never worn a tuxedo. Sadly, we will never ever see Ben Lewis wearing a tuxedo in this underrated musical sequel. Yeah, I'm not that surprised. And what type of Phantom is Ben Lewis? He is truly the entertaining and the comedy relief type. And he does remind me of Goku, since they are both funny in so many ways, and I really love his dialogues. His dialogues are so darn funny in this musical, it makes me laugh. Oh yeah, Ben Lewis, he's such a cool, interesting character. And when he played his own Fan of the Opera, I just like his funny faces. You know, acting so weird and all that stuff. I have nothing else to say about Ben Lewis. So Ben Lewis is known as the entertaining and the comedy relief type in all the other fans out there, if you know what I mean. And now let's go on to everybody's most favorite Phantom, and my favorite Phantom too is our dear beloved Ramin Karimou. I think Ramin Karimou is the easiest type of all the Phantoms out there. And he really does remind me of Vegeta. He deserves to be the Vegeta type. He is known as the cocky but yet the most passionate Phantom that you'll ever know. He does release true cockiness in both Love Never Dies and the 25th anniversary edition of the Fan of the Opera. I mean, well, he's close as a bad A-word character, but not really that close. But at least he has his cockiness in him. I guess you could say Ramin Karimou is the prince of all Phantoms. Just like Vegeta. He's the prince of all Saiyans. Well, if you ever pay attention to Love Never Dies or the Fan of the Opera, whichever version you watch, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, to tell you the truth, ladies and dudes, please pay attention to all your favorite fans around the world and get to know their types, from their personalities, their attitudes, the way they act, or why are they so darn different than the other fandoms that you knew and loved. And will these fandom dudes will remind you of some other characters that came from Dragon Ball Z. That's the reason why I got to know those three dudes, because they reminded me of a few of my favorite characters from DBZ. Yes, I have some other fans that kind of reminds me of some other characters that came from DBZ and get to know what types they are. I will say for Coleman Wilkinson, he's the oldest and the wisest type. He'll be known as the Old Kai Phantom. John Irvin Jones is truly the friendliest Phantom that you ever known. You know, a guy who's a bit too friendly to play our beloved character. But he's known as the Kibito type. Peter Joback is the Heartthrob type, because he's gorgeous and good-looking and handsome, and he's truly the Supreme Kai type. And for this Anthony guy, it's so darn hard to pronounce his last name. I will say he is the Shakespeare type, because his voice sounded like he's a part of Shakespeare. The way when he sings. And he'll be known as the Nappa type because of his bold head. And as for Michael Crawford, he's the okay Phantom. He looks like the Phantom, he dressed up as the Phantom. And the music of the night is truly his best part. But my major problem I have with Michael Crawford is his... When he does the Phantom, his voice is a bit too soft for my taste. I think his voice is way too soft, you know, to fit the character. And I think he's known as the Hercule type. Yeah, see what I'm talking about? Study your Phantoms very carefully and get to know what types they are. So, that is my most important quick video of the day. Have you ever studied your Phantoms that came from different types? So tell me, ladies and dudes, for all the Phantom of the Operas and Love Never Die fans, have you ever studied your Phantoms and get to know what types they are? Well, whoever those cool dudes are who could play one of the most legendary characters of all time, please leave a comment there and let me know. And join me next time when I head back to the movie theaters to see The Avengers 4 Endgame. I can't wait to see this movie. It's going to be so darn epic. Big time. So, that is it for now. I'll see you guys later, and sayonara.